Hello guys and welcome back to yet another movie review with me, NayNay01, and of course we are talking about none other than Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi. Now I've literally just got back from the pictures with my little boy Ethan, and I've got to be honest, this film has blown me out of the water. I kid you not. I've literally made a list as well of the things that I want to discuss. But before I do, I'd just like to say massive spoiler alert as always. What I'm going to be talking about is for people that have seen the film and want to hear my reaction to it, or they're not bothered about the spoilers and they're going to just watch it and make their own mind up anyway. So first of all then I want to talk about the opening. Now the opening was it pulled me in straight away. As soon as you're there, it's Poe. He's doing his thing. He's an awesome pilot, and he is a bit rebellious in this one as well, guys. He gets slapped by Princess Leia at one point, but that's later on in the film. But in the opening, he's on his own. He's in a single fighter, and it's really comical at certain points as well. For example, when he's at the start of the film, he arrives and he's on his own in a little fighter ship, and he's got the First Order sort of like all of them just there in front of him, and he's like, "Hello, General Hux," or whatever his name is, and he's like, "Hello, can you hear me?" It's like, "Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?" It's like, "No, I've got a message," and all this stuff. I can't really remember what happened. Oh my god, my mind is so fried right now. But it is a comical moment, and he just flies around on his own, doing his thing, and they can't hit him because he's so small and so nimble. They can't actually lock onto him. So he starts destroying these turrets on the ship, and boom, 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 boom. And he really does kick ass. And then we progress to where we catch up with Rey and Luke Skywalker, and they're there on the cliff, and she hands him his father's lightsaber that obviously got passed down to him, and he looks at it, he holds it, he looks at it, and he again doesn't say a word, and then just lobs it over his shoulder as if to say forget about it. And then Rey's like, "What the hell? I did not expect that." And she goes down and picks it up, and I was literally laughing at this bit, but I was like, "What the hell? What the hell? I did not expect that." To be fair, I didn't expect anything that happens in this film to happen. It really did blow me away. But she keeps tormenting him and winding him up and chasing him, like, "Look, I'm not leaving unless you come with me and help." And he's a bit like, "Oh, I don't want to. You shouldn't do this. It's not right." And he's really resilient about going to help. He just wants to stay on the island and just do his own thing. And yeah, it really did get me. Another thing that I want to talk about is Rey's power. Now, during her training with Luke, she really does begin to tap into her power, and she really is powerful. She really is powerful. Another person who I'm going to get back to in a minute is Leia. And obviously in Return of the Jedi, Star Wars Episode 6, you obviously learn that she is Luke's sister, and she has the Force ability as well. And you don't really see much of her powers. And Carrie Fisher, God bless her soul, she did a phenomenal job in this film. Her acting, once again, absolutely phenomenal, flawless. She she is legendary, and that is part of the reason why I went to see this film, was to see her in potentially her last ever role. There's still speculation whether she did manage to do some of her scenes for episode 9, but I'm not entirely sure about that. But as I say, she was phenomenal, and I'm just putting it out there that she deserves recognition for her role. You know, if she's up there looking down, thinking that I hope my fans are proud, we're proud. You did us proud, Carrie. You really did. Yeah, Rey's powers then, she really has, like Luke says in the trailer that everyone would have seen, I've seen this untainted power before. It didn't scare me enough then, it does now. It actually does make him a little timid. And we'll talk more about her powers shortly, but moving on to Leia again then. She is, by the looks of it, very powerful, because in a moment in the film when Kylo Ren leads his own resistance against the rebels, he goes to shoot at his mother and hesitates. He doesn't do it. He really goes to do what he did with his father. He wants to destroy the past, as he so well puts it. And he goes to destroy his mother. She's there, she's on the bridge, he's got a clear shot to the bridge, bridge being as in command station of the ship, not like a bridge that you cross, just clarifying that. She's there, and he looks, and she can sense it's him, and he can sense that she's there, and he hesitates, and he puts his thumb on the blaster button, and then he looks like he's going to do it, but then he doesn't. He takes his thumb off, and then these two pilots on his left and right come flying past him. They start blowing shit up, and Leia and everyone else in that area of the ship that was in the bridge gets sucked out into the vacuum of space. They all die, except for Leia. Leia does not die. She manages to, I'm guessing, use her force abilities to keep her alive in space. I mean, you can see a little bit of frost on her because obviously it's cold in space. But she reaches out, and obviously she's in space, so this is really going to be damaging to her. She must have put herself in some sort of force bubble or something, and she reaches out with her hand, and she basically starts flying through space. I shit you not, Carrie Fisher flies through space. She reaches out with her hand, and she basically is she's pulling herself towards the ship, and she pulls herself in, and a medical team take care of her after that. Rey and Kylo have sort of a strange connection within the film as well. They go throughout the film, well, most of the beginning of the film, connecting to each other, and at first they are really hostile towards each other. Rey's like, "You murdering bastard," and Kylo's like, well, you know, whatever. And then they start seeing each other more, and the hostility begins to drop, and she sort of sees in Kylo what Luke saw in his father, in Anakin, in Vader, and similar sort of thing goes off where she's like, I see light in him, I can turn him to the light side, where he is like, I probably could turn to the light side, but could she turn to the dark side? And, well, we will progress with that conversation very shortly, I guess. Another thing is Snoke does not last long in the film. Well, in this trilogy. I don't suspect we will see him in episode 9 because he does die, and I will move on to how he dies very, very shortly. But yeah, he doesn't last long. He's literally in the beginning of the film. You see him in person. He extracts a load of information from Rey, very, very quite violently using the Force with her, because Kylo brings her to Supreme Leader Snoke, which I was quite surprised at, because I looked at it and I just thought this is very similar again to the moment where Vader brings Luke towards Palpatine. And talking about Snoke as well, there is speculation that he could be Darth Plagueis. I've seen a lot of people saying that he possibly could be, he couldn't be, you know, whatever. But yeah. So yeah, that's that, I guess. Finn and Phasma. So I'm just crossing off my list here. I'm going through a thing, I'm just crossing off my list. Finn and Phasma, they get it on. And when I mean get it on, I don't mean like they start kissing and cuddling or anything like that. They have a full-blown fuck-up fight. I'm not even joking. She's like, you are a traitor, and he's like, fuck you, and he runs at her with pure fucking rage, and he's like, you motherfucker, boom, 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 boom. They fight, and it is epic. I mean, it's not a long fight, but it is really something that I was like, oh my god, at. And he kicks her ass, he smashes her arm, you actually see her eye, you see her actual eye, you don't see much of her face, but he smashes her in the face, and her mask, it breaks, and you see her eye, and she unfortunately meets a pretty, I can't even think of the word, pretty fucked up way to go, I guess. She basically falls in a big fucking explosion of flames. Which, by the way, I think she might survive that. I think she might. And the reason I say that is because her armor of her suit is not the same as a stormtrooper's. Now, when you shoot a stormtrooper, whether he's got his armor on or not, he will die. The blaster, the laser beam that comes out of the blaster will penetrate him and kill him. She gets shot by a laser gun, by a blaster, in this film, and it doesn't even make a dent. It doesn't even make a dent. She's got some special chrome body armor. She falls into the fire. I think that could potentially save her, and I think she might come back in episode 9 with a possible burn mark or scar upon the eye that was exposed through the helmet. I don't think that's the last we've seen of Phasma. I really doubt that. A lot of people are saying as well that it's possibly not the last we've seen of Snoke, but I shit you not, there is no way he can survive what happened to him, and we'll talk about that in a moment. But yeah, Finn and Phasma's fight then was absolutely epic. Rey's parents are revealed within this film, along the same sort of moment that Snoke is extracting information from Rey. I think it's just after the events of Something Happens, which I will move on to. I'm going to move on to bit by bit. It's kind of backwards and forwards through the process of the film here. Yeah. And it's not I think there's more to be revealed. I think there's more to be revealed, and the reason I say that is because I'm not settled at the fact they made it such a big issue and a big thing that she was left on Jakku as a little girl, and you see her parents fly away in a ship. I don't believe that for a second, because sorry, I believe that did happen, and her parents are of some significance. But in episode 8, both Rey and Kylo have a moment, and Kylo is basically saying your parents were nothing. They were junk traders on Jakku and all this, and Rey just sort of accepts it, which I find very strange. Because if they were junk traders on Jakku, why would they leave, and why would they leave their little girl behind? It just doesn't make sense. I think in episode 9, something has to be done or revealed about her parents, and I honestly do believe that she could potentially be in the line of the Skywalkers or the possible Kenobis. I don't know. There's a lot of speculation about that. I've done a lot of reading about this, and it's just fucking, there's loads of theories. And I think that her parents are significant to the actual storyline. It just wouldn't make sense. They make it a big issue in episode 1, and everyone rants and raves about it up until The Last Jedi. Sorry, not episode 1, episode 7. And then up until The Last Jedi, everyone's ranting and raving about it. And, I mean, what the hell? But, yeah, I think there's more to be revealed on Rey's parents. One thing that I will mention that I had a feeling was going to happen, and did happen, and I am oh so thankful about. I once read on the internet that a certain person was returning to the studio to do some work. It wasn't confirmed, but now I can confirm that that rumour was true, and the person I am referring to is none other than Mr. Frank Oz himself. He did indeed go to a studio to do some voice recording, because god damn it, Yoda returns in this fucking film, and I was blown away. As soon as I see him, I was like, what the fuck? And it's not like a Luke Skywalker at the end of the Force Awakens moment where you see him and he just looks and he doesn't talk. No. We have full Yoderage right here. He is there. You see him. He's in the film for a good few minutes. You know, it's a decent cameo. I am not going to complain. I was buzzing. So was Ethan. And, you know, obviously Yoda's one of his favourite characters in Star Wars. I mean, Jesus Christ, he talks and he takes the mickey out of Luke. They are having a bit of conversation, a little bit of banter, and Luke clearly still has much to learn, as you will see. Yoda does sort of like pick on him a little bit, like, well, you know, failure is the greatest lesson to learn of all, and all this. And Luke basically goes to destroy this tree, this like temple of the Jedi. It's sort of like a library sort of thing. It holds the original scripts of the Jedi Order, which Luke thought was very important, but Yoda goes on to explain that, nah, that's just old fucking gobbledygook. You don't need to worry about those books. And Luke goes to burn it, but Yoda beats him to the punch, and using the Force sends a big fucking lightning bolt down to the tree and just fucking cooks it. This is Yoda. This isn't Luke's doing, this is Yoda. Now, we all know Yoda is a great master. We all know he is very, very wise and knowledgeable about the Force. So him to destroy something that Luke deemed quite important and significant to the, well, quite not significant, but, you know, you catch my drift. It was part of the Jedi Order, and he deemed it important. And Yoda just, see you in a bit. That's gone. Don't worry about that. You focus on what you need to do, Luke. That's what you need to do. And yeah, it was good. It was good to see. Good to see Master Yoda return. Another thing that I want to move on about returning cast then is, and he's mentioned quite a few times in the film, in regards with Kylo Ren, is Darth Vader, i.e. Anakin Skywalker. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that that Vader returns, because that is not true. There was rumours, as there was with Yoda, that Hayden Christensen was apparently confirmed to return to the Star Wars saga. It didn't emphasise which episode though, so I've still got my hopes pretty high that he may return for episode 9. Hayden Christensen apparently has already expressed his interest in returning to Star Wars as a Force ghost, as Anakin Skywalker. But yes, I reckon he will return in episode 9. That is my theory, that is my hope. I really do hope to see Hayden Christensen return, because what happens in this film really leaves the Resistance on their knees. They really are down on their last bit of luck, and I really do think that Anakin Skywalker should return to sort of like bring them hope, and sort of like have a word with his grandson and say, look Ben, you've been a little shit, I've been where you are, you need to sort this out, mate. This is not good. This is not good what you are doing. Bang out of order. You're fucking grounded. You know, he needs to come back and sort of lay the authority down a little bit, which obviously is possible. We've seen Yoda return as a Force ghost, which was amazing. It's not the first time we've seen him as a Force ghost, obviously. We see him return as a Force ghost at the end of Return of the Jedi with Anakin and Obi-Wan. So there we go. We know Anakin can return as a Force ghost. We know Obi-Wan could potentially return as a Force ghost. So either one of them could return in episode 9. You know, you could easily do a quick fucking CGI like they did with Leia in Rogue One. Turn that CGI blue, make it glow a little bit, and there you've got Alec Guinness as Obi-Wan returned. You know, so yeah, Hayden Christensen sadly did not make a return for The Last Jedi. Unless there was post-credit scenes, in which case I did not see. I watched the film, the credits rolled, and you know, I'm pretty sure that Star Wars is a film series that they do not put hidden footage behind the credits. So you know, unless this is a first and I missed something and Hayden does actually return as a Force ghost in episode 8, then I fucked up and I missed it, and for that I do apologise. But yeah, I don't think he has. I watched the entire film, I didn't see him, there was a couple of references, that was it. So yes, moving on to the next subject then. Moving back onto Snoke, why he did not last too long. Really did shock me, and at this moment I was like, oh my god, I really was. I was looking at Ethan was looking at me, and we were just like, what? Snoke, that I can't even say what I'm trying to say right now. I'm sort of like falling over my words. Snoke dies in a very awesome way. He's there, sat in his throne, and he's holding Rey using his Force powers, and Kylo Ren is about to execute her. She cannot move. Kylo Ren turns on his lightsaber, his own lightsaber, and very sneakily, with his left hand down by his side, he opens his hand ever so slightly and begins to turn his wrist. Now I'm thinking, what is he doing here? What is going on? At this point, Snoke has to the right of him, at the side of his chair, Rey's lightsaber. She did recover it after Luke chucked it over his shoulder at the opening. She recovers it, and she uses it. Snoke has it to his side, and you see that rotating, and it begins to rotate in a way that would be deadliest towards Snoke. And boom, Kylo Ren, the villain, kills Supreme Leader Snoke. I was like, what the fuck? I am not even joking. This was a moment where I thought, oh my god, he is turning to the light side. He is going to help Rey, and they are going to bring down the Resistance. Sorry, not the Resistance. The First Order, and well, yeah. Basically, Snoke, the laser beam, the lightsaber, cuts him in half, and he just fucking flops onto the floor, cut in half. A lot of people saying Snoke's going to return. No, he cannot return from that. He was there. He had one hand on his knee. He had the other hand reaching out to Rey, and it cuts him in half. And there's no way he can survive that. A lot of people are saying, Snoke could have survived. I'm saying no fucking way. If he survives that, and I know that Darth Maul, not in the films, and it is canon, it was part of one of the TV series, the animation ones. I can't remember which one. I don't think it was Rebels. It might have been Rebels or the Clone Wars. I'm not sure. But Darth Maul from Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, survives being cut in half. Obi-Wan cuts him in half in the film. Now this is canon, this is lore, this does follow on with the story. When Darth Maul falls down the pit, he is recovered and he is given robotic legs. So I know that can happen, but I doubt that Snoke is going to get robotic legs. You see him up close and personal at one moment after he's been cut in half, and there is no life there at all. He is not moving. He is done. Snoke has to be done. If he does return, then fair enough. That is fair enough. I'll apologise now for that. I was wrong. If he's returned in the future, I hold my hands up to that, and I do apologise. But at this current moment, Episode 9 is not even being mentioned yet. Fucking Snoke has been cut in half. To me, he's done. He's dead. He's gone. He's out. See you in a bit. Bye bye. And what a way to go. Killed by your own apprentice. But that's how the Sith work, I guess. You know, you think of if Snoke was Darth Plagueis and he had control over life and death, then he apparently was killed first by Palpatine, which was his apprentice. And then, the Sith work on killing apprentices, replacing apprentices, killing their masters, things like that. So, it kind of worked out for Kylo Ren. He was kind of fulfilling his destiny, in his opinion, I guess. But yeah, Snoke, see you in a bit. Following on from that then, is the immediate and amazing team up, and I can't believe I'm saying this. Rey and Kylo team up, and they kick ass, and they make a awesome team. They help each other out. They see each other in danger from point to point. They help each other out, and they're basically fighting off Snoke's loyal red cloaked guards, basically, which are very similar to the Emperor's royal guards in the original trilogy. The guys all dressed in red. They're fighting off them, and amazing sequence. It was a moment that I cherished very much so, because they really kicked ass. They really did. They really did. And I think seeing that moment, we're probably never going to see it again. A moment where Rey and Kylo are working together. That was really cool. That was epic. I'm not gonna lie. And then we move on to the final chapter of the film, where those two have fallen out. After the team up, Kylo's like, "Come with me, join with me. Together we can rule the galaxy." A bit like Anakin was towards Padme, and a little bit towards Luke in one of the games. Was it Luke? Was it Luke or someone else? I can't remember. I'm getting mixed up with that. But yeah, the way Anakin was with Padme at the end of Revenge of the Sith, where he says to Padme, "Join me, and together we can rule the galaxy. I can overthrow the Emperor. I'm more powerful than him," and all this. And she's like, "I don't believe what I'm hearing." And I was right, yes. Darth Vader does say it to Luke, I remember now. He says, "Join me and together we can rule the galaxy as father and son." That is obviously in The Empire Strikes Back. Now, the big climax of the film then, after those two have fallen out, is everyone's fighting. The rebellion is getting crippled. The First Order is almost wiping them out. There's literally, at the end of the film, possibly about 40, maybe 50 members of the rebellion left out of thousands. They really do take a hell of a fucking beating. There's probably even less than that. There's probably about maybe 20 members of the rebellion left. And I'm like, what? This is why I say that Hayden Christensen needs to return to sort of like. There's no way the rebellion can stand and fight against the First Order. The First Order are too huge. They know where they are now, and you know what I'm about to tell you is really deeply saddening. So it's the last fight. Boom. Everyone's kicking ass. The First Order have got the rebellion pinned. They are kicking some fucking ass. I am not even joking. The rebellion takes such a smashing. Leia survives. She makes it right to the very end, which I am pleased to say. I'm hoping that, obviously, Carrie Fisher is no longer with us. I am hoping that they can work around that with some computer wizardry, maybe a bit of CGI to possibly bring her back. They did do it in, as I say, in Rogue One, so it can be done. You know, you can bring that character back to life, so to speak. But one character you are not going to bring back, possibly, you probably could, is, in fact, I'm not even going to mention it. I'm not even going to say it yet. I'm going to talk about the fight. There's a big fight. There's a big battle. Boom. They're on the last knees, and someone does return, and that is Luke Skywalker. He comes back. He speaks to Leia. They share a nice moment, and then one really awesome moment Luke Skywalker does do is he says, "I'm going to face him alone. I can't save your son." This is what he's talking to Leia. "I can't save your son," and Leia admits that she cannot disagree with Luke. She says, "That's my son. I know my son is gone. There is nothing left in him." But I'm going to go with Rey on this. I'm going to say that there is a little bit of light in him. I could be wrong. Kylo Ren does seem a bit of a bastard. He did kill Han Solo after all. Anyway, so moving on. Those two discuss what's going to happen, and Luke goes out to face Kylo Ren alone. Bearing in mind, this entire fucking... They've got these big ape walkers. I'm going to call them ape walkers because they look like they're hunched over and they're walking on the knuckles. sort of like the AT-AT walkers from Empire Strikes Back. They're closing in. You've got Kylo's ship hanging overhead. He lands, he comes out, he confronts his uncle Luke, and they have sort of like a moment where they're discussing, stuff, and then they draw lightsabers and they have a game of Julie Woolies, and I've got to say, Luke can move. He really can. Kylo literally can't land a hit on him. He's literally just avoiding. Luke Skywalker is like a ninja. He literally just dodges everything that every swing that Kylo throws at him with his lightsaber. He cannot hit him. And then Kylo comes running at Luke, and well, just before he starts running, he says, "I'm going to kill you, and you will be done with the Last Jedi." Blah 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 blah. To which Luke responds, "Everything you've just said is wrong. The rebellion will succeed, blah 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 blah, and I will not be the Last Jedi." To which Kylo responds by running towards him with his lightsaber. At this point, Luke has deactivated his own lightsaber, and it's sort of like it reminded me a lot of the Obi-Wan Kenobi and Darth Vader battle in A New Hope, Episode 4, where he says to Vader, "If you strike me down, I'll become more powerful," which is something similar to what Luke says to Kylo Ren. Now, Kylo Ren comes charging at Luke, and you see the lightsaber go through Luke, and it looks like it's cut him in half. Kylo then turns around, looks at Luke, Luke turns around, Kylo walks up to Luke, points the lightsaber towards him, and impales Luke with the lightsaber, and Luke's just standing there, and Kylo pulls the lightsaber out, and he's looking a bit confused, they're a bit dazzled. He's like, "Well, you should be dead. You should be dead. I've just cut you in half and stuck this thing through your chest. What is going on? You should be dead." And Luke's just like, "Well, you're a dick. You really can't tell the difference between the real me and a fucking hologram." That's right, Luke fighting Kylo Ren, that was just a hologram. The real Luke is still on his island, and he is using an immense amount of power to sort of hologram himself, sort of do like a doppelganger version of himself to take on Kylo Ren. And it really is. He sat there. He's sat on this rock, and he's meditating, and you can see he's struggling to maintain it, and he fades. The hologram fades, and Luke sits on a rock, and everyone's like, "What the hell?" The battle commences again. Everyone's like, "Whoa, what the hell?" But Rey is there with the Millennium Falcon and Chewbacca and a few other new faces, and yeah, it's it's a moment that is really, really gripping, because Luke is there on his rock and he's at peace. He's not suffering, he's not in any pain, and Leia and Rey feel him slip away into the Force. Luke does the exact same thing that Master Yoda did, and you see him set on his rock, and he disappears, and you just see his cloak just float away. And so we have the confirmed death of Luke Skywalker, and I'm quite happy but sad at the same time. I'm sad that they've killed off Luke Skywalker, but it's Star Wars, and everyone knows that a Jedi can return as a Force ghost, which I'm hoping we will see in Episode 9, because Rey still has much to learn, and Luke cannot just abandon her with 3 Jedi lessons, as he so put it. So yes, Luke Skywalker does die, and I am happy at the same time as being sad, because he dies in such a way that you know, if it was to die by Kylo Ren's hands, you'd be like, what the fuck? This Kylo Ren couldn't last 2 minutes with Rey in Episode 7, and now you're telling me that he can defeat Luke Skywalker. Even though Luke Skywalker's a little bit older now, he would be a lot more powerful than what he was in Return of the Jedi, and his lightsaber and force skills would outmatch Kylo Ren, I would say, quite easily. I mean, Kylo Ren is powerful, as you will see in the film, and you learn about what happened to him and the rest of Luke's apprentices, and the real truth of why Kylo and Luke have a nephew and uncle issue. I'm not really going to get into that one though. But yeah, and it would really piss me off to no end if Kylo Ren was to be the one to end Luke Skywalker's life. That is not the case. You think it is? When he's fighting the hologram, you think, no, he's cut him in half, what the fuck, no. And then he's stabbing him, oh my god, Luke, what are you going to do? That's not the case. That is really not the case. The case is that Luke Skywalker was smart in what he was doing. He knew he was going to die. He mentions it earlier on the film that the reason why he came to the island is because he wants to be away from everything now, and he wants to die on the island, which is what he does. He wants to die on the island, and he did. He did that. He sits on his rock and he disappears, just like Yoda did, and it's good that he died that way. I really didn't want him to be made a fool of or sort of like belittled in battle by Kylo Ren. That would have really upset me as a fan. And yeah, that's basically everything covered that I wanted to cover. The film on the whole, I really did enjoy. It had some moments that has me thinking, what the fuck? It has me thinking at certain points, oh my god. And, you know, it's one of those films where it definitely succeeded where Episode 7 failed, I think. You look at Episode 7 and you think, okay, it's a good film. It has a lot of moments that you think repetitiveness, and I guess you could say there is one or two moments in The Last Jedi, but not as much as there were in Episode 7. The Last Jedi does definitely blow The Force Awakens out of the water. I can clearly say that much, and I'm very happy with it, and I've got to rate it. I'm going to rate it a 9 out of 10, and the reason I rate it a 9 out of 10 is because well, it still has its flaws. Like, for example, there's moments in it where you look at it and you think, I've seen that before. And I know Star Wars is a series that is known for repeating itself, the famous no, and I've got a bad feeling about this, and you know, certain actions, certain things, quite repetitive. You know, we see them in quite a lot of films. You see them repeating themselves in other episodes, and you know, it's not something I'm going to beat myself up too much about with it, because it's something that makes Star Wars Star Wars. You see something and it automatically makes you think of a previous episode, which is how Star Wars works, I guess. But you can't give it a 10 out of 10 because there's just some little issues here and there that probably could have been done a little better. I mean, the reason I'm giving it a 9 and close to 10 out of 10 is because, well, the fact that it has Yoda in it, the fact that, you know, you see a team up of two enemies that you wouldn't see anywhere else. These guys hate each other. Rey and Kylo despise each other, but then they have these little moments where they're like, kind of like you. I can see where you're coming from, and you know. But yeah, I was hoping to see Hayden Christensen return. The whole thing with Carrie Fisher flying through space, I was kind of like, not really keen on that. I like the idea of her using her force abilities to survive the vacuum of space and bring herself back to the ship, but that was a little too much. I think that was a little too much. I'm not, you know, saying Carrie Fisher is, you know, no good or anything. I would never do that. I love Carrie Fisher. I think she was an amazing actress. And I'm not saying it's all to do with her talent at all. I think it's got something to do with the actual overall script and screenplay. I think that should not have happened. If anything, change it up. Don't let her get sucked into the vacuum of space and then fly through space like she's fucking Superwoman. No. It's a good idea, it's a good concept. I think it is unique. We've never seen Carrie Fisher use her powers before, her force abilities, and I think it brings something new. But she could have done it in a different way, and yeah, that should not have happened. That should not have happened. But yeah, on the whole, Star Wars: The Last Jedi is amazing, and I'm planning to go and see it again with a friend, and yeah, I really did enjoy it, and I hope that if you've seen it as well, that you agree with me on certain points. If you don't, that's fair enough. Your opinion is your own, and you are entitled to that. But yeah, leave your comments in the comment section down below. Let me know what you thought of this review. Let me know what you thought of the film if you've seen it. If you haven't seen it and you've seen this and I've spoiled it for you, I do apologise, but I did give a spoiler alert at the beginning of this review. So yeah, let me know what you think, and yeah, that is it from me for now, guys. Until the next movie review, in the movie reviews part, I guess. I've got a few other movie reviews I'm wanting to do. I'm wanting to talk about a few past films as well, a few current films that have come out of late and quite recently that I've not really got around to do. So yeah, keep your eye out for more movie reviews by me. As I say, some past ones as well, some films that have been out a while, I'm going to do a review on them because they've been out a while and they're still quite enjoyable, so yeah, I'll be talking about them. Yeah, on the whole, Star Wars: Last Jedi, I think the acting was brilliant. I think some points could have been changed. But yeah, it really was worth going to see. I really did enjoy it. It's a 9 out of 10 rating, and yeah, that's it from me, I guess, guys. As I say, I hope you've enjoyed this review. I hope you can sort of relate to what I'm saying. If your opinions are with me on this one, if they're against me, then as I say, that's up to you. That's for you to decide. But either way, I hope you've enjoyed this review, guys, and as always, I will see you in the next video. Ta-ta for now, guys.